Welcome to the Redemption Podcast Show. I'm U.S. Army veteran and poetic human John Krotec.
And I am a former professional fighter, the champion soul, Jason Freebird Freeman. In a sincere effort to help others and to set some records straight, we share our personal stories and scripture and offer real solutions to overcoming the challenges of life.
We appreciate you being here. And remember, the truth
shall set you free.
Welcome back to another episode of the Redemption Podcast Show. I'm here with champion soul Jason Freebird Freeman. I'm John Krotec, the poetic human. We've been talking about some interesting subjects, things that can set you free. And today we're going to talk about love and the two commandments that were given to us by Jesus. We're going to elaborate on this. You know, this is in Matthew 22, verses 34 through 40. And here you go. Give you a second to get there. Jesus said unto him, "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets." So there you go. Love, 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 love. You know, love is all over the Bible. We're commanded to love. Love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as you love yourself. And Jason.
John, right here in Luke 6:27, I say to you that here, this is rough, but this is how we have to do it. Love your enemies, do good to those who hate you. Come on now. How do we do something like that when at times we have a hard time loving ourselves?
Great question, Jason. We look around the world today, everywhere. I don't care if you're looking at TV, listening to the radio, watching something on a streaming channel, whatever you're watching. You see anything but love.
All I see is hate. There's so much hate, anger, and frustration.
Which means that a lot of people out there hate who they are, and they're not happy with where they're at in life, which is why we've developed these two programs that we'll get to near the end of the show. But it's indicative. I mean, it's a window to the soul of humanity, all the stuff that's going on. And then there's these nefarious forces. Some of them run social media platforms, and there's a lot of mass media, mainstream media out there that promotes the hate. And why? Well, why promote hate when we could solve all the problems of the world if we just spread a little bit of love? Most people know the answer to that, because if you get people hating each other and there's this fear that runs through the bloodlines of humankind, then they're easier to manipulate. You get somebody scared, hey, but I have the solution. Planet's melting away. But if you buy this solar car that I'm going to make $100 million on, we can fix the problem. You know, there's so much nonsense going on out there that's using this hate, this lack of love, to get what they want. So
it just makes the world go, makes a lot of the people in the world wonder, get depressed, anxiety, medications go up, you know, and in all reality, love, when you can learn how to love yourself and love others from the inside, you know, not with your mind, because your mind can alter a lot of different things. But when you love from the heart and with the heart, that seems to trump over everything else.
Absolutely. And people are probably wondering, who are these two guys? You know, yet another podcast show. And who's Jason Freebird Freeman? Who's John T. Krotec? Just two guys, you know, in the mix with everybody else. Why should we trust them? Why are they valid? What makes them so credible? Do they really have something that can help? And all I can say is our stories are out there. Jason, you're the grandson, despite what other people might think. You know, the DNA is on its way. But the grandson of a Taurus cult figure, everybody knows the story. And we're here to help change that, to be part of the narrative that creates something good out of
Just,
that.
just sustainable change, John. I know just from walking through the life that I have for these 47 years, never in a million years imagined I would be on a phone call or creating a relationship with my grandfather, Charles Manson. Never thought of it. Never thought I'd be right here, but time time wants to evolve, and it's almost like life comes around full circle. 50 years ago, our world was going through some crazy things. Well, look, time time's repeating itself. We're living in some crazy times. We're looking at they say the highest number of racism ever. Well, yeah, of course they're going to say that. And then they're also going to say, oh, the sun's hotter than ever and the iceberg is almost gone. I mean, everything is a sales pitch to fit their narrative. And that's what's rough is to sit back and watch people fall into these things that aren't even real. It's almost like our government is a made up fairy tale.
Yeah, some great points there. Really great points. And that's what's got everybody freaking out and hating on each other is that there is so much uncertainty, but it's being fed by the powers that be. And, you know, my own story, you know, what happened to me between the third and fourth grades that summer being
Mm.
assaulted in a not so nice way by a much bigger boy on a neighborhood sleepover and the
John,
madness that created for me, you know.
that was a sexual assault, right?
Yes, by every definition of the word. And what I did
Yeah.
was kept it quiet for 42 years. And who would have ever thought me, like you said, who would have ever thought you would have been striking up this relationship with your grandfather? I I probably would have gone with that story to the grave unless I had not had my DUI accident. It's out there. Go look at the records, and I had a traumatic brain injury because of it, which unleashed all those demons. But I don't want to digress. So Jason puts together Decide to Fight based on his experience as a professional fighter and the techniques that they use to become champions, champion soul. And then when I had what happened to me, I went into my shell and I just wrote poems and short stories trying to deal with that trauma. So here we
Mm.
are, years and years later. Jason was heading down the dark path um, till he turned his life over to Christ, and I was too. Mine was a quiet, dark path, and I did the same thing. Now he's got his Decide to Fight program, and I've got my HEARTSCRIBES program. One fights it out, one writes it out, but the foundation of what we're really attempting to do, and I can assure you we've had many talks off record, is love. You know, if we didn't fall down
Telling
on
you.
our knees and look at that person in the mirror and love who that person is, and believe me, it didn't happen overnight. It's not easy to love yourself when things have happened to you and you're dealing with trauma. But when it starts
Take a
to
lot.
happen, desire, takes real commitment and perseverance. And that's what the Decide to Fight program is about. Jason constructed it, we put it together, and same thing with HEARTSCRIBES. It's about writing out um, the ways to reverse the trend of the behaviors and beliefs that you have.
Come on. It's it's the way that's going to set us free. A lot of us walk out our everyday life and we're not free. We're not free on the inside of our minds. You know, it isn't easy. It is difficult. Um,
It's a
Man,
challenge for sure.
yeah,
So there you go.
it's
Short episode here. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
yeah. This is something. This is scripture that my grandfather would say over and over again to his good friends. So his good friends. If you've never heard this, um, here it is. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. That's John 15:13. And that sums up what my focus is in my life is to give everything I have um, with my love over to God and let God create that path that I'm to be on. That path is consistently about helping other people.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. My advice is just taken right out of the Bible. Love God above all else. Love your neighbor, but there's a caveat in there. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And if you can't love yourself, then you're going to end up like everybody else or like most people out there, indecisive, hateful, confused, angry, frustrated at your own life. And we're giving people an opportunity. We're taking our experiences and we've created these programs to help you to turn those trends around. Visit jasonfreebirdfreeman.com and look at his Decide to Fight program. It's a good one. And visit my website, johntkrotec.com, and look at the HEARTSCRIBES online program. It's a good one too. You can fight
John,
it out. You can write it out.
are both these programs both 6 weeks, 6 week programs?
They are both 6-week programs. They're relatively easy. I know there's a series of questions that Jason has for each punch and for the knees. And then
Yes.
there's the 4-punch combination that you're using that all fighters know. And then with mine, there's just 3 lessons, 2 weeks each, that take some really deep introspection and some creativity for you to get in touch with who you are. Both programs
Powerful.
are powerful, and we're here to help. We truly want to help people.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people making a lot of money who are helping people, and we're just part of that, but in a different way because of the stories that we have to share. Jason, thanks again for another episode. And I just want the listeners and the viewers to know they don't have to hide the truth, because the truth
shall set you free.
Thanks, Jason. Good seeing you. Go to the websites. Catch you on the next one.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Redemption Podcast Show. We hope you got some wisdom out of it. Don't forget, the truth
shall set you free.